All right. Hello again, adventurers, and welcome to another exciting Daily December. This is Daily December number 13, the very lucky Friday the 13th, and today we're going to try something different. As I mentioned in yesterday's vlog, uh, found this thing called Strider Mode for the One Ring Second Edition TTRPG. It's basically a how-to book on how to run solo adventures and solo tabletop RPGs. I thought it looked fun, and I thought it might be something fun for us to do for Daily December. So today, we are going to build my character that I'm going to use for this little solo Daily December campaign thingy. Now, I have no idea if this is going to work, how well it's going to work, but again, the entire purpose of Daily December is to try new things. So that's what we're going to do. I do have to admit, one of the things I like about the One Ring Second Edition is it does seem to be particularly well suited for theater of the mind narration and combat and everything like that, which I think will work well for this format. So, without any further ado, this will get a little bit boring and might be a little bit difficult to follow. So, I figure we should have something a little different. Like this! If anyone is wondering, this particular character sheet, I literally typed in the One Ring Second Edition character sheet into Google, and the second thing that comes up is this Itch.io page. I will have a link to it in the comments. But this person, they just go by Jez Gordon. Is what their Itch.io page says, and they created this really nice form fillable character sheet for the One Ring. And the place where my beautiful vest is normally where you would put your character portrait. But I figured it's such a pretty sheet, and I need to make a character anyways, that I would just use it and then tell everyone, go pick it up. It's free to download, but like most things on Itch.io, if you think what they do is really cool, you can toss a couple bucks their way for making something very interesting and fun. Now, in order to get this to fit on the screen, there is a little legal or not legal thing. There's a little thing in the bottom right that specifically says, designed by Jez Gordon for the One Ring Second Edition RPG using graphical elements from the official rules for personal use only. JezGordon.itch.io. And there's a reset form button that I didn't know existed there. That's really cool. So, due to the fact that I had to cut that off to make it fit in the place, I wanted to read it because I don't like, removing this stuff that the author put on there. So, as a reminder, this is not my sheet. This is also not the official One Ring sheet. It's by someone named Jez, who is very cool and amazing. And with that, let's build a character. Now, anyone that's been watching this channel for any period of time knows that... Oh, I should probably... Hold on a second. I'm going to bring up the Strider Mode rules as well, just to make sure I'm doing this right. How it works, adventuring phase, your adventure, creating your player hero. Score, fellowship. Alright, so we'll reference that as we go. So anyway, I remember what I was just saying. So, I have done a little bit of delving into this, and anyone that's been watching this channel for any period of time knows I like monks. I'm a monk main. Every tabletop RPG, the first thing I do when I open up their rules for creating characters, I try to make a monk. And it's one of the reasons why I like second edition better than first edition. It's because in second edition, they have unarmed attacks. That's one of the kinds of attacks you can make. Now, they're not good. Like, there are no monk characters in The Lord of the Rings. But that being said, I have discovered a way to make a monk. So you bet we're going to be making a monk. So with that being said, let's start building this character. The first thing you need to do, according to the core book, is you need to choose a heroic culture. And this is where I get my the thing that allows me to play as a monk. The core book has nothing that allows you to play as a monk. The thing is, the way that combat works is you have like training in specific types of weapons. As you guys can see on the character sheet here, proficiencies with axes, bows, spears, and swords. None of those sound like punching. There is a fifth category of weapon, which are called brawling weapons. And there's a number of different ones. It's not just unarmed attacks. It also counts attacks with daggers are done with brawling. Attacks with, I think they call them cudgels, which is basically any kind of striking thing. They mentioned quarterstaffs and stuff like that. And I thought there was one other thing. But anyways, clubs. Clubs are also in there. So the way that those work is whenever you use one of those weapons instead of an axe, a bow, a spear, or a sword, you basically just use whatever your highest proficiency is, and then normally you take one disadvantage to it, so you roll one die less for it. Which isn't great. It means that, punching and stuff like that's just not going to be anywhere near as effective as using an axe, bow, spear, or sword. Which, in reality, is 100% true. Like, bladed weapons tend to do more damage than your fists. But I want to make a monk, and so I was looking through various things. And one of the books I also got with that bundle is called Peoples of the Wilderlands. And it basically added a few heroic cultures that were in the first edition core book, but didn't make it to the second edition. One of those being the Bearnings. The Bearnings, if you're not familiar with the name, it comes after... they're named after a specific character in The Hobbit. The character, his name is Bern. Which I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. If I'm not, feel free to yell at me like one does on the internet. But Bern was a character that Bilbo and the dwarves met as they were on their journey to Erebor. And he was what was called a skin changer. He had the ability to kind of turn into a bear, and he helped them out. He's kind of standoffish. So the Bearnings are his people, people like him. And one of their virtues is called brother to bears. Bern has taught you to heed the call of your ancient animal heritage. You hear it especially when the wrath of battle takes you. Raise your maximum endurance by a point. In addition, you don't lose one die on your brawling attacks. And your unarmed attack rolls produce a piercing blow on a result of Gandalf rune with an injury rating of 12. I can be a monk! So I'm going to be a Bearning. Bearning. It's Beornings. And I believe the etymology of the word is it Celtic? I think it's Celtic. Or Gaelic, somewhere in that neighborhood, and I think that's how you would pronounce it in that vernacular. Again, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But anyway, so the heroic culture that I'm doing is going to be Bearnings. Because yes. And then my cultural blessing is called Furious. And then it's basically when wounded, all attack and pro. So all attack and protection rolls favored. Okay, so which in the One Ring, favored is basically advantage from D&D 5th edition. For your, I can't remember which die it is, the D10s, you roll 2 of the, or D12s technically, yeah, D12s. You roll 2 of them instead of 1, take the higher result. That's what favored means. So you've got that. Basically, when I'm wounded, all my attack rolls and my protection rolls are rolled with favor, which is kind of cool. My standard of living is common. We'll deal with that in a little bit. So let's go back here. So first thing I do, record my cultural blessing. I did that. Determine your attributes, choosing a set or rolling a success die. So, as you can see, there's 3 different attributes. There's strength, heart, and wits. Strength is basically everything physical in general. And as you can see from the list of skills underneath strength, they're a little bit broader with the idea of strength than most tabletop RPGs. Like your strength score in D&D is like physical, I'm going to do things. However, strength score in here also can influence your song, meaning you have a good strong voice, or your awareness. Things like that are all strength based. Heart is kind of a combination of charisma and constitution. You can see healing in there, insight, and hearten, which is kind of motivating other people, battle knowledge and stuff. All that's under heart. And then wits is things persuade, stealth, scan. It's interesting the way that they split these things up. But the way that each culture works is each culture has 6 different different attributes layouts that you can have, and I think you can either choose one of the 6 layouts or you can just roll for it. And I think that's what I'm going to do. Where are you? Here, we'll put you there for right now. I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to take just a regular D6. Most of your rolls are going to be a single or 2 D12s and then a number of D6s. So this is my pretty metal D6 die. I don't have the special One Ring dice, but you can use regular dice. So let's roll and see what my attributes are. I got a 4. So for 4, my strength is going to be 4. Boom. My heart is going to be 6. Very heartful. And then my wits is going to be 4. Now, your target numbers is basically anytime you roll one of these skills, you have to beat your strength target number. Same is true about these with heart. And the way that it normally works is you take 20 and you subtract whatever your score is. So the best you can ever have for the number you have to beat here is 12, because it only goes up to 8. However, they mention in the Strider Guide, when you are figuring out your target numbers, instead of figuring it out based on target number of 20, you're going to do it from a target number of 18. So for strength, since we're subtracting from 18, this is going to be a 14. For heart, it's going to bring it down to a 12. Then for wits, it's going to be 14. So not too bad. Just checking to make sure that I'm not doing any thing, or I'm not missing any thing else. So, the next thing we're going to do. So we did determine your attributes. You set calculate your strength, heart, and wits target numbers. We just did that. Calculate your derived stats: endurance, hope, and parry. So let's go to back here. So my derived stat: endurance is strength plus 22. So my endurance 22 plus my strength is 4. So that'll bring me up to 26. My hope is heart plus 6. So 6 plus 6, my hope is 12. And then my last one, parry, is wits plus 12. So wits is 4. So my parry is 16. Not too bad. I don't know how good those stats are, but I like them. I think they look very, very nice. So, yeah. I need to do a drink. Let's get... Don't fall on me, water. Alright. So we got that. Next thing we need to do, record your skill and combat proficiency ratings. So, the other thing that your Hero Culture gives you is a number of skills. So, I just have a list of skills on here, and I get to copy them word for word. So your Heroic Calling does a lot for you. So I'm just going to do that real quick. My Awe is 3. I guess I can just do it that way. Athletics is 2. Boom, boom. Awareness is 2. Hunting is 2. Song is nothing. I don't sing much. Craft is 1. That's my strength skills. For my heart skills, I've got Enhearten 1. Travel 1. Insight 1, 2, 3. Healing 1, probably going to be very useful being a solo character. Courtesy, nothing. Battle 1. All right. And then the last thing I have, Persuade, nothing. Stealth of 1. Scan of 1. Explore of 0. And then Riddle of 1. So I got those. Not too shabby. And then in addition to that, I get to choose one skill among out of 2 of these that they've given for me to mark it as favored. And again, favored means I get to roll with advantage. So you either get to be favored in athletics or favored in scan. And I think for the character that we're creating here, I don't have a complete backstory for them yet. I'm going to kind of make it as we go along. But with them being a kind of a loner, I think having scan... Before we say the wrong thing, I'm going to actually go here. I want to see exactly what they describe as scan. So, Insight, Craft, and Heart, and Explore, Scan. There's a scan skill, examining something closely or attentively. Skim through a book. Look for concealed doors or hidden inscriptions. Locate a set of tracks in the ground. Scan. Scan feels right to me, so we're going to be favored in scan. All right, not too bad. Very cool. We need to do combat proficiencies. So axes or spears, I get to choose those for my combat proficiency. I think I kind of like, for my monk character, I kind of like spears better than axes. And then I can also choose one combat proficiency. Again, because I'm going to be using brawling, it doesn't really matter what combat proficiency I choose, because all of my attacks are going to be whatever my highest one is. So I'm just going to choose, I'm not sure if you're allowed to do this, but it doesn't say I can't. So I'm just going to choose another one for spears. And that will give me the best chance of my brawling attacks working. So this is what we've got thus far. And now I have to choose distinctive features. Distinctive features are basically just personality types. And I choose two of them. So the distinctive features listed for the Bernings are bold, fierce, generous, honorable, rustic, stern, tall, or wary. So this character is going to be a Strider character. They're going to be adventuring on their own. So the fact that they're not going to be part of a fellowship in any way, shape, or form should be reflected in their distinctive features. So, I kind of like I'm 6'4". I'm kind of leaning towards just tall in general because that's my my adult life. I have been tall. Fun fact: when I was younger, I was not very tall. I was very very average height until I got to high school, and then like over a summer, I grew like 4 inches. And I was like 6'2" for most of high school, and then when I got to college, I grew another 2 inches, or shortly after college. So let's see. Of those distinctive features, where do I put? Okay, so here are features. For a Strider of a Baroning, I like honorable. Always have. And then I think I like bold too. So character, very honorable character, but very kind of bold, kind of as opposed to someone that kind of sits in the background or kind of waits for things to happen. This character is much more of an active person. They are going to create the inciting incident. They are going to move things forward. They're going to be the person that starts the conversation, things like that. Kind of like that about for a character like this. So yeah. And then they have typical names. We'll deal with the name at the end. But a lot of these names are not names that are easy for me to say. Wolfred is one that sounds familiar. The rest of them are like Sildrek, Garivald, Geberick, Gerald, I know Gerald, Grimfast, Hartmut, Hathus. So we'll deal with the name later. Moving on. So again, they want me to choose my name and age now. Not going to do that. We'll do that later. And there's the only thing that's not on this sheet that seems to be on all the other sheets is a name or an age section. So yeah, we'll figure age later. Next, we need to answer the call to adventure. So, I need to choose a calling. So, let's go to the callings. So, the various callings that are available to me. Captain, Champion, Messenger, Scholar, Treasure Hunter, and Warden. So, what do I want? I don't think Captain would be a very good fit because they're all about kind of leading people, and I'm not really leading anyone. Champion might be interesting. Champions are built. Well, here I'll read it. You deem that there is but one way to oppose the return of the shadow, and that is to conquer it by strength of arms. You are recognized as a warrior among your folk, a valiant fighter, onward into battle. For you, the road to adventure leads straight to wherever your foes prowl or hide. So we could go that route, but again, I'm playing a monk here, So a monk being focused on combat is not a crazy idea. A lot of martial artists put a large uh, emphasis on combat. In fact, I've always had I had this idea a long time ago for a character I thought would be fun to play in Vampire the Masquerade. Actually, they would be, I can't remember the clan, but the clan, the kind of special thing about the clan, they're the aristocratic clan, and they're all about art and stuff like that. And so I thought about making this character that would literally be a martial artist, where they learn any kind of martial art that they possibly can, simply because they view them as works of art, and the body and physical movement and things like that are art to them. And so one of the things that they like to do is they pick fights with people. Not like go up and go, hey, I'm going to punch you in the face, but actually ask people, hey, you want to spar a little bit? Because that's how they get to know people, is they see how they move, they see how they respond in a combat situation. So I think it might be fun for this character. Again, honorable, bold, kind of fits in the idea. If we go with champion, we could kind of have a character who puts a very large emphasis on, kind of the purity of combat. I kind of like that. I think that's really, really a cool idea. So yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. So calling, we're going to go champion. Then I get to choose 2 more favored skills. And they have to be either athletics, awe, or hunting. Again, being a strider, I think being able to hunt is pretty good. And it'll be especially impressive to find out how I hunt as a as a monk without weapons. So we'll see how that goes. Then I also need either athletics or awe. Awe. Athletics is all kind of physical stuff, whereas awe is kind of like, here, let's go back and read specifically what they say awe is. Skill measures the capacity to evoke respect in onlookers and determine the impression the player heroes make on someone they meet for the first time. Yeah, it can be used to instill wonderment, admiration, or even fear. Kind of digging awe, so I think I'm going to be favored in awe. Aw. Not aw. Aw. Alright, so we got that. Chose my favorite skills. Additional distinctive feature, enemy lore. I get to select the type of enemy it applies to. This distinctive feature gives you knowledge of the characteristics, habits, strengths, and weaknesses of your chosen enemy. So I can be evil men, orcs, spiders, trolls, wargs, and undead. So favorite enemy kind of the thing. For this particular character, I think I kind of like... I'm going to put a semicolon here. And we are going to say evil men in a enemy lore. All right, so this particular character, again, this character kind of lives for the purity of combat, and because of that, they get to know people by having physical contests with them, specifically sparring and the things like that. And because of that, they've got to know quite a few evil men, people that have allied themselves with the shadow. He's kind of able to kind of get into their head. So Yeah, I think that's a cool thing. And then finally, my Path of Shadow is Curse of Vengeance. So the Shadow Path is effectively, as bad things happen, you can kind of be sort of, I guess, corrupted. The effects of shadows start to weigh on your soul heavier and heavier. And so eventually, as shadow points get higher and higher, you can start to lean into your shadow path, which for this character, is they start becoming a little bit too fixated on their honor, and someone that has dishonored them in some way no longer is just an insult to them. It is a purpose for their life. They have to go and exact vengeance on this person, or maybe a kind of person based on the person or thing that impinged your honor. Vengeance in and of itself is a very ugly thing. So yeah, so that's interesting. Let's go back to creating an adventure. So we did that, chose a calling. I get to spend previous experience points. That's the other thing that's a little bit different here. Instead of having only 10 points to spend, we have 15, which is very, very nice. So let's go to preview experience. So I've got 15 points. So I think I can put them here. 15 points. I don't know. We'll just use that there to kind of track it. And I can use them to raise different skills and combat proficiency. I think it looks like 3 is as high as I can go for combat proficiency. So since I already have 3 there, I don't need to worry about that. So I can spend it entirely on my skills. So what do I want to do for this character? I think stealth would be important for this particular character. Being a strider, being able to be out there without people finding you is very, very useful. So I'm going to bring that up 2 points. And that takes 5, so it brings me down to 10 points. What else do I want? And Hearten travel, I think, is going to be very, very useful. So I'm going to do that as well. Bring me down to 5. And what else do I want? Battle knowledge might be useful. I can technically go all the way up to 4 if I want to. So if I wanted to take like Awe to 4 or Insight, and Hearten might be useful. Healing might also be useful. What else? Explore. I could do 2 levels of Explore, because, of course, I'm going to be exploring stuff. So that will bring me down to 2. And that basically, I could either take one thing from 1 to 2, or just add 2 skills at 1. Persuasion would be useful. And let's say I can sing a little bit. There we go. So that's all my points. All my points. Makes me feel special. All right. We've got that. Let's go back to here. So spend previous unit. Choose your starting gear. So let's look at starting gear. So with me, I have common, so I can have. What can I choose? Okay, so fully cooked all personal items. The games. Now we want the character carry. Use the war gear. Their chosen weapon, armor, and shields on their character sheets. Starting heroes can choose one weapon for each combat proficiency for which they have a rating, and their preferred selection of armor, helms, or shields. So if I'm playing a monk, not going to be using a shield. For armor, I'm also not going to be using a helmet either. So I think I'm just going to have a leather shirt, which gives me protection of 1, which is 1 die, and then a load of 3. And then for a weapon, warrior, I'm going to have unarmed. Damage is 1. Injury, as we saw before, is 12. Load is 0. I can put includes throwing stone. Just go also throwing stones. How about also throw stone? Because I can use unarmed to throw stones at things as well. I can also, I might, because again, the monk character I want to play, unarmed combat is the thing. However, being a war gear, I'm going to look up specifically war gear. Cudgel. Cudgel is any bashing instrument used with one hand, like a small club or a short staff. So I guess they don't have... Do they not have a staff? Because that's only supposed to be one-handed. They don't have two-handed. I guess I won't then. I was gonna say, yeah, I'm gonna have like a quarterstaff that I use, but quarterstaff is a two-handed weapon. They just don't have two-handed weapons, I guess. So we're not gonna have that. We're gonna be super frugal with this particular character. Armor is going to be. Let's go back to starting gear. We're gonna have a leather shirt for armor. Leather shirt. Just a load of 3. That gives me a protection roll of 1. I don't know how protection rolls work yet, but I will figure that out eventually. I'm apparently not particularly great at defending myself. We'll come up with a way that works later. Yeah, leather shirt and punches, and that's what I do. No shield. And, yeah, we'll see how this goes. This may not be the smartest thing in the world. And then I also get to choose useful items. Liquid bomb, useful items. All right, so having a common standard of living, I can have up to 2 useful items. So, examples of useful items: a knife for skinning rabbits, a little box of salt to cook. So that might not be the worst thing in the world. A balm to soothe pain wouldn't be bad. Oh, I should have increased my healing. What if I want to get rid of something so I can have better in healing? Nah, we'll leave it that way. But I'm definitely going to have for... Where would we go? Gear. I guess I'll put it here. Useful items. Balm for healing. We'll have that. What else might I like to have? And I think it would make the most sense for me to also have knife for just we'll just put hunting knife, which is a tool, not a weapon, which is why I don't have it listed under my war gear. But most definitely, if I was a if I was someone that lives in the wild on a fairly regular basis, I would have a hunting knife. Bare minimum would need to have a hunting knife. So yeah, what else do we need to do? Choose your starting gear and then record your valor and wisdom scores with 1. Choose your starting reward in virtue. So valor starts at 1. Wisdom starts at 1. And then I get to choose starting rewards and virtue. So, start of the game, all players get to choose 1 virtue and 1 reward, selecting them from those listed in chapter 5. So, my starting virtue, I think is what it's going to be. Yeah. Starting virtue is going to be the thing that I got from there. I don't know, again, if you're allowed to take a cultural virtue at level 1, but that's what I'm doing because that's how I made my monk. So, brother to bears, which increases my endurance by 1 point, which brings you up to 27. Very nice. And then I can communicate with bears using courtesy, persuasion, or song. So I can talk to bears. I'm a little bit tougher, and I get to punch stuff. That makes me happy. Now, in addition to that, I also get a starting reward, which rewards are basically just kind of things that allow you to kind of upgrade your gear. So weapon, reinforce. I could get close-fitting armor or helm. So when I make a protection roll, I would get a +2 to it. I could... Oh. Again, normally for weapons you would have to have an actual weapon. And I thought about, with this character, doing something like, having them wear like enchanted gauntlets or something, so I'd have something to upgrade. But no, we're going to go full on monk with this. And I think it might be fun to have a Grievous punch, basically. So Grievous weapon is strong or heavy, inflicting more harm on the target. Just gives me an extra damage, an extra point of damage. So I think that's what we're going to do. Is my reward is going to be Grievous punch. And we're going to justify that by saying that I have learned special techniques from the Burnings, and I can hit harder than most, and my hands in and of themselves are magically. I even thought about maybe doing like magic tattoos or something, but I don't know how much that fits with kind of Tolkien lore. So I think it's just going to be through strength and training and the things like that. I have learned how to strengthen my hands to a point where they actually hit harder. So yeah, I've got Grievous Punch. Or Grievous, let's just call them Grievous Strikes. And that's why my unarmed attacks do 2 damage instead of 1. So, yeah, I think, and then I can do things like I currently have 12 that, I currently have 27 that. Alright, let's go back to here and see if there's anything else. So yeah, record Valor and Wizard scores, choose your starting reward. And then the last thing that I need to do, according to Strider, I need to choose a safe haven, which again doesn't have here. So normally I think you choose your safe haven during your company creation. My fellowship score is 3 plus any from virtuals, cultural blessings, and your patron. Okay, we'll deal with the patron a little bit. But I do need to pick a safe haven. So we're going to go to the map of Eriador. So we're set in Eriador, and again the Burnings are from the. Where are the Burnings from again? Let's go back here. Over by the Great River of Anduin. So if we go back here, if we want a safe haven, again, being a Strider, I'm not going to. Let's go to. It's the Lore Master that's got. The world. Let's go to the world. See what places they have here for places for a safe haven. So safe haven basically is where I go when I'm not adventuring. And the simple thing would be just to say Bree is my safe haven. Like the Prancing Pony is where I go because it's kind of central to all of Eriador, and a lot of stuff starts there. I may do that. I'm gonna look this over again to make sure I'm doing this. So. The company patron. We'll figure out our patron when we start playing the safe haven. In Eriador, the Adile Chiefs are starting safe haven's village of Bree. I think that's what we're gonna do. So, in my history, we're gonna go safe haven Bree. I think I'm going to put that at the bottom too. So let's cut that. Let's put it all the way down here. Safe haven, Bree. So that's my safe haven. Other things. Fellowship score will deal with that. There's no fellowship focus. And another distinctive feature is called Strider. While journeying, the player hero is considered inspired on skill rolls. And inspired means index. I for inspired. Inspiration. Oh, that's cool. Basically, if I spend a point of hope to give me an additional die to roll, I get 2 dice instead of 1. Which is cool. Me likey. So yeah, well, that works for that. So patron, we'll deal with the patron in a little bit here. Yeah. So, yeah, this is my character. We need to pick a name. Gotta pick a name. All right, so let's go back to the bearing. So, language and typical names. The Burnings are gradually embracing the custom of choosing for themselves names honoring their renowned chieftain, either by having a B as the first letter or containing the word bear. For example, Baldric, Baronald, Bermud, so on, by adding a by name, referring to their provenance or occupation or physical or temperamental qualities. Arnulf the Old, Berenger the Eloquent, and by names are disposed by event, especially if connected to a special feat of skill or deed of renown. So, let's call myself... So this character, again, he is a bold, honorable monk that is a champion. He relishes in the kind of purity of combat and uses that to protect people from the shadow. He likes to punch things, and he strides. So let's call him... I like the idea of B. So, Bernald, I'm not sold on that, or name with a, or let's call you... Good name. Let's think. What do I have here? Male names. Baldak. Oh, I could go Balzac. Balzac's fun. Balzac's a good... for anyone that doesn't know, Balzac is the name of one of the 3 wise men that visited Jesus on his birth. It was Melchior, am I misremembering that? All right. I have to look this up because it's going to bother me. Am I misremembering that? Oh, Balthazar. That's what it is. It's not Balzac. It's Balthazar. So Melchior, Caspar, and Balthazar. I like the name Balthazar. Balthazar. The steel-fisted. Balthazar the steel-fisted. I like that. I think that's cool. Real quick, I need to look at my treasure thing. Where's the standards of living? Is that where it is? So common, starting treasure rating of 30. I don't know what that's for yet, but I need to put it in there. So, yeah, Balthazar the Steel-Fisted. I like that name. It's a good, I don't know why I thought Balzac was. It's a good biblical name, though. It starts with B. I think this is a cool character. I'm into it. So yeah, this is going to be the character whenever I get the chance to do these solo adventures. This is going to be the character that I play. Balthazar the Steel-Fisted. So yeah, as far as history, so let's get some history in here real quick. So loves the purity of combat. So purity of combat feels the best way to learn about a person is through sparring other physical expressions. Uses their martial prowess to beat back the shadow. All right, so now I have a little bit of history. So, loves the purity of combat. Feels the best way to learn about a person is through sparring or other physical expressions. Uses their martial prowess to beat back the shadow. I like this. I think this is a cool character. I don't completely understand this system yet, but I think this is going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, I cannot guarantee that my next daily vlog is going to be the first episode or session of this solo RPG, but whenever I have the ability to run this, then yeah, we'll see how it goes. But this is my super cool character that I'm super excited about. So yeah. Otherwise, let's go back here. That's gonna be all for me today. As always, I'm interested to hear from you guys. First of all, do you like my character? Say yes, because it makes me feel special. But in addition to that, what kind of character would you be interested in playing in a Lord of the Rings campaign? And who do you think should be the patron? I've already chosen my patron. I'm not going to announce it until we actually until I actually run the first session, but I have a particular reason for choosing this particular patron. But the patron is basically the person that sends you out on whatever quest you're going on. So in the world of the Lord of the Rings, who would you want to kind of send you on a solo adventure? You know, would you want to be kind of wandering into the Prancing Pony and meet, you know, a dude with a very tall hat saying, well, perhaps you should go on an adventure? Do you want to talk to Balin before he goes and tries to retake Moria? You know, let me go in the... Or you want Elrond to come over and tell you, Mr. Anderson. Wrong version of Elrond. Let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, again, it's all for me today. See you guys next time. All right? Bye-bye.